The summer of 1994, I was living in Chicago, Illinois, in the Old Town neighborhood, not far from the intersection of North and Wells. And Chicago in 1994, as far as the music industry, those were heady days. We had the huge Chicago music scene was on the upswing. There was Smashing Pumpkins, Material Issue, Urge Overkill, Liz Phair. Jeff Tweedy from Uncle Tupelo fame had relocated to Chicago and was putting together his new band Wilco in Chicago. 11th Day Dream, Freakwater. I recently did a video talking about 10 fantastic non-audiophile but audiophile quality reissues that I listed that everyone should seek out. And one of the two albums I'm going to feature today was released originally back in 1994, and this artist is almost kind of forgotten, I think, today, but the album I'm going to feature is called This Perfect World. Freedy Johnston, originally from Kansas. I think he relocated to upstate New York. I'm not sure where he's living now or what he's doing, but I do know that in 2019, he initiated a Kickstarter campaign to get This Perfect World issued on vinyl. I recently picked up a copy of this album, and I was just totally blown away. First of all, I had the album. It was originally released in June of '94. I had this album on CD and played the hell out of it. It's just a fantastic singer-songwriter. In the same vein, Marshall Crenshaw is someone else that comes to mind that maybe influenced him a little bit. But this guy had some fantastic songs. He had a string of great albums in the mid to late 1990s. This Perfect World, the material was so strong, it caught the attention of Butch Vig, who decided he was going to work with Freedy. He produced the album.
This Perfect World by Freedy Johnston is probably one of my favorite albums that I've produced. It might seem like a bit of an anomaly if you compare it against a lot of the rock records that I've done, but if you know anything about me growing up in the Midwest, I love folk music and alt country music, and I love great songwriting, period. So that's the main reason that I wanted to work with Freedy. The songs on This Perfect World are absolutely brilliant. I think every song is like a little short story. They're unique children unto themselves, and they all paint a picture, at least in my head. I see a picture every time I hear one of Freedy's songs. But it's so great. I mean, Bad Reputation, Evie's Tears, Disappointed Man, Cold Again, Dolores, This Perfect World, Across the Avenue, Gone Like the Water. Every song is absolutely brilliant on the album. And not easy to make records like that where every song is really good, especially in the world we live in now, which is very singles driven. So if you haven't heard This Perfect World, you should get it, because it's a lovely, brilliant album, and Freedy's an amazing singer-songwriter, an amazing artist, and I love you, Freedy.
And the reissue is fantastic. One of the best, I know I sound like a broken record, one of the best sounding records I have in my collection right now. I just picked this thing up on Discogs 2 weeks ago, and it just kind of, I don't know, revitalized my love of vinyl and why I'm in this hobby. It just sounds so amazing. there are not enough words for me to recommend this album any higher. If you know Freedy Johnston and you know that album, then you know it's a special album, and you deserve to get this thing on this reissue. It's just incredible, mastered at Masterdisc, and dead silent, gorgeous pressing. There it is with that pretty awesome cover and a really nice looking label. Again, this was reissued in 2019. They did an original run for all of the Kickstarter award, the people who had pitched in on Kickstarter, but it must have been so successful that was a limited run that was numbered. I have the next repressing, which came out later that year, I believe. This is easy to find on Discogs, and again, I just cannot get over how well this music sounds. It's got a great soundstage. Separation of instruments is just fantastic. Clarity, dead silent vinyl, just perfect. And a perfect group of songs as well. You know, the big hit off of this, minor college radio hit, I guess, but I think he was on Letterman and possibly Leno and possibly Conan. Bad Reputation. If you haven't heard that song, it's a fantastic song. The song that kills me, though, is the title track, This Perfect World. There are some melancholy songs on this album, but as a cohesive artistic statement, this is in my top 5 albums of the 1990s. This Perfect World, Freedy Johnston, an incredible reissue that deserves to be heard. More people need to know about this. Liz Phair burst on the national scene with the release of the double album out the gate, Exile in Guyville. The rumor was, or the legend was, is that it was kind of a retelling, a remaking of Exile on Main Street by the Rolling Stones. Liz Phair came out with her follow-up album in September of 1994. That, of course, was Whip Smart, produced by Brad Wood, who had worked with Liz Phair on the debut album. This is a solid follow-up. There is some fantastic music on here. And I have the 2017 reissue. Universal Music Group / Capitol put this out, and I was pleasantly surprised for a main label reissue. This is done really well. It's also a 180 gram record. Let's talk about some of these songs. So the big one off of this was Supernova. Incredible playing. Liz Phair, I think they doubled her voice tracks occasionally, because if you do see Liz live, especially in the early days, she suffered from stage fright. She has kind of a thin voice to begin with. So things could be a little shaky live for her. I saw her, back in 2011 at a small venue in Denver, and she has gradually gotten much better as far as her stage persona, projecting her voice, etc. Always has a good band with her, and that was a great show. I remember that. Chopsticks is that kind of a cappella riff that begins the album. This album, like anything that she does, has got a little bit of a profane streak to it, so don't be shocked. I love X-Ray Man. Whip Smart was the second single off of the album, of course. Cinco de Mayo is great. And I also am particularly fond of May Queen, the last song on side 2. That's a great reissue. Both this album released in September and the Freedy Johnston album released in June of that year just takes me back to that time period. I loved my time in Chicago. That was actually a second stint that I was enjoying in Chicago. I was there from the fall of 93 up until the spring of 1996. Fantastic time to be in that town. A lot happening musically. Some fantastic clubs. Everybody I think has probably heard of Cabaret Metro, now known as Metro. Wrigleyville, just north of Wrigley Field on Clark Street. The Double Door, no longer with us. That was a fantastic venue. And many, many, many more. There was a place down the street from the apartment I was living in now very, very gentrified Old Town on Wells called The Exit. They eventually moved to Wicker Park, but I remember walking into a live scene there one time, late night show, dancing on pool tables. It was an incredible scene that I won't soon forget. But that was Chicago in the early to mid 1990s with the blossoming music scene. Liz Phair, of course, has been more prominent nationally than Freedy Johnston. But Freedy is still out there, and I recommend supporting him. If you see him at any live gigs, take an opportunity to go see him. He's an incredible songwriter, great player. And this album, this reissue just blew me away. It's everything I could have hoped for and more. First of all, this was a fantastic album to begin with, but this has really been given the love treatment as far as I'm concerned. You have to check it out. That's a quick video today taking a look at the summer of 1994 and personally kind of reliving some great times that I had in Chicago that summer. This music that I just talked about was all over the airwaves. The main player those days as far as radio was concerned. And this was, 1994. XM radio may have started. I don't know. I don't remember. XM Sirius XM. Anyone who is anyone in Chicago, if you were interested in cutting edge music, great music, you listen to WXRT 93.1 on the FM dial. I think it's still going strong, although it's not what it used to be. Although some of the original jocks are still around, which is a good thing. Thanks for watching today, and I hope to see everyone here back soon. If you like this video, if you liked what I'm doing here, I would really appreciate if you like the video. Hit the subscribe button so you'll get all of the content that I put out as soon as it is uploaded. Thanks again. Have a great day.